You're about to listen to the Brand Experience Podcast with your host, Fred Ranger. Welcome to this new Brand Experience Podcast. I'm really happy to be launching this podcast. Let me tell you a little story about me. I started podcasting in 2005, actually, and it was really hard back then. I mean, the softwares weren't great, and definitely no, Skype into your software type of connection and stuff like that. But I was passionate about the medium. I've always been passionate about audio and about, radio. I was actually a radio host at my university in Montreal for about 2 years. So again, really like this medium. And if you follow me a bit at Fred Ranger on different platforms, you'll see that I'm really active from a social media perspective. So whether it's, YouTube videos and Facebook Live or some Snapchat and Twitter. And my thing has always been to look for experiences. So I like to experiment, new platforms, but I like it when brands are using the platforms in a way that I've never seen. So this is what you can expect from this podcast. I'm going to try to do it every month, and I'm going to try to bring the most value to your life. So if you're into marketing, if you're into brand, if you're into basically new forms of media, this is the podcast for you. So I'm going to try to mix some interviews with also some of my own thoughts on marketing. And if you, again, follow me a bit around, you'll see that I've basically developed a framework when I work with some brands and most lately with Yellow Pages to look at what we're doing internally and basically fix the stuff that we need to fix first, and then create great brand experiences. So brand experience for me is really, really important. That's why I wanted to launch this podcast. And if you want to be on that podcast, or if you want to learn more, I really invite you to join the newsletter at fredranger.com/podcast. I really invite you to join the podcast because this podcast is for you, but also a way for me to kind of learn and get to know you better. I think podcasting is a very, very cool form of communication. I think I can learn a lot through that podcast, but I think that I can, add some value to your life. And this is going to be a two-way conversation. At the end of the day, I want to be able to grow your knowledge by my experiences in the past, how I've helped brands, go from brand expression to basically brand experiences, where we create meaningful campaigns or meaningful movements even. So we're going to talk about that a lot on the podcast. Again, I'm Fred Ranger. I'm looking forward to the first official podcast, and this should be in about 2 weeks. But in the meantime, stay safe, subscribe to the newsletter at fredranger.com/podcast, and stay tuned for more update on the Brand Experience Podcast.